Hi, welcome to the Drama Free Living Podcast. Lisa, today we're talking, kind of continuing the conversation on gratitude. And, we do a great exercise. We kind of mentioned in the last episode, 3 things I'm happy about. And it's really just helped me. I mean, just the peace that has kind of brought me and it's kind of solved some of the inner turmoil. Because in what's interesting is that sometimes you'll do it when you can tell I'm tense or frustrated or kind of irritated. And just I'd never want to do it in the beginning when I'm that way, right? When I'm irritated and frustrated, it almost like sometimes like causes more irritation. But gosh, when I get done, it's just a change of perspective, and really I become more collaborative and more creative. And it's just fascinating. It's almost a transformational question.
Yeah, absolutely. I do the 3 things I'm happy about when I'm feeling kind of heavy, or if I'm finding that I'm easily irritated.
Yeah.
Then I'm thinking, okay, I need to reset my focus because I'm obviously not focusing on things that are going well or things that I'm happy about. I'm focusing on irritants,
Yeah.
and I just need to just kind of reset myself or give myself a different outlook. So, can we play 3 things I'm happy about?
Yeah. Let's do it. You go first. Lisa,
Okay.
what are 3 things you're happy about?
3 things I'm happy about. Today, I'm happy that we're here in the studio because I actually really enjoy doing this with you. It's fun.
Aw.
I'm happy because I've just been able to connect with our family, my sisters and our kids, a lot lately. And I got to have dinner with my granddaughter twice this week, and
Mm.
I was just so happy about that. Third thing I'm happy that you're in town. You had to go out of town um, for a couple days this last week, and I was really looking forward to you coming back. And so I'm
Yeah.
happy that you're in town.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm happy that Josh got us water. If you're watching on YouTube, we've got a little table right here, and Josh gave us some water, and we didn't have to go search for water. He just offered water, and
Water's important.
yeah, that really helped me. And then I went into the kitchen here at the studio, and I didn't bring you any, but
Oh my gosh,
some
you got something and didn't bring me something?
beef sticks. And I
Ooh.
just had a beef stick, and I'm like, because I was really hungry when we first got here, and now I feel really good. So I'm pretty happy about that. And I think when I walked in the studio today, they've got like our logo like right at the front door. And I thought, wow, really makes me happy because I think, gosh, we really do have a business.
That
Because
we
sometimes
do.
I wonder, right?
That we
Sometimes
do.
I wonder. Yeah. And so we just want to encourage you, like that is a fantastic exercise to really, get into you. We do it personally. We do it with our kids at family dinner, just multiple ways that you can do it. And one, it's really why we created the resource Team Talks. So if you're having problem with some of like the blaming, the complaining, it is a whole system of team meetings that you can run for the entire year for only $10 a month or $100 for the entire year. And it's for the month of December. So that's a resource for you. And it's why we created Team Talks to really help with this gratitude issue, lack of appreciation. It really kind of combats that and really helps you boost productivity and really helps stop the complaining. So if you're tired of the complaining, the moaning, the blaming, right, the victim mentality, if you've got that in your team, you got to get Team Talks. Okay, it'll really help outroot some of that. Is that even a word, outroot?
It is today.
Okay, today, good.
Well, and with Team Talks, so you have to have weekly meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you don't have an option but have a weekly meeting because that's what your higher ups tell you you're going to do. And if you're not doing a weekly meeting, you probably should be doing a weekly meeting because communication is important. But Team Talks it gives you
It's a resource for your team meeting.
it's a setup of, okay, this is the direction we're going in this meeting. In addition to all the housekeeping that we have to deal with in our meeting, this is some instructional information. This is something that can help your team. This is a direction we can focus on.
It's like
And so,
videos, tools, scripts. It's the whole thing.
yeah, and so it's normally $30 a month. But for Christmas, Merry Christmas, the month of December, it's
2024.
yeah, it's $10 a month.
Yep. So you can have
So
it.
make your 2025 easier for your team meetings. It's a cheat sheet to just help you make your teams more cohesive and your higher ups happier.
Yeah. Meetings more simple. There it is.
Yeah, there you
There you
go.
go. Okay, so let's kind of continue the idea of gratitude. We want to kind of talk about maybe some of the health benefits, the emotional benefits, some of the social benefits. And Lisa, if it's okay, I mean, Dr. Paul Mills in 2015 just did this exhaustive study and kind of came up with all these health benefits. And we're not. You can go look it up. We'll put the link in the show notes so you have that as a resource. We just want to just kind of just talk about some of them instead of. Is that okay, Lisa? We don't give
Yeah.
like because you're a research queen. I'm not research guy, and so you are so great at it. But I just want to maybe just give some of the ideas. It improves your sleep,
Mhm.
right? Because I think that when you're more grateful, right, the state of your mind improves your sleep. I know, went through this week and I just didn't sleep well. And I told you, like, even this morning, it's, oh, last night was the night I finally got a good night's sleep. But I think a lot of it was my state of my mind. I
Mhm.
found myself just waking up thinking about things and thinking about projects that haven't gotten finished and different client things that we're involved with. And boy, it really affected my sleep and just really stepping back and kind of improving, my gratitude. I know it lowers your blood pressure, right? Kind of lowers that stress and anxiety, and
Mhm.
you know, it's like you're in what's happening like mentally, like always affects you physically, right? Even a lot of things that are stress and anxiety, they're kind of fear based. And gratitude really combats fear. So if you're having challenges with stress, anxiety, like worry, concerns, man, gratitude is such a fantastic tool to really, go after those things and kind of eliminate those things. Um, Help prevent overeating.
Do you know why that is?
Tell me.
So overeating a lot of times it's a soothing mechanism.
Mm,
There your taste buds, there are certain things that bring up positive memories. It's a positive trigger
mm,
from times in the past. And so eating those things, especially when you're in turmoil and you're stressed,
wow.
it's a soothing mechanism and it recalls positive vibes, positive memories. And so when you're all stressed, some people go to the opposite and they just don't eat at all, and others they overeat because it's just a way to soothe. So that's how it helps with overeating.
Yeah, and so when you think about it, it's like gratitude becomes sort of this antidote to overeating. It's a fascinating idea.
And there's a lot of other reasons why people overeat, but that's one of them.
Yeah, and so if that's a challenge for you, maybe try gratitude as a tool and let us know, how it works for you. I think it motivates you to exercise more,
Hmm,
right? Because it's almost like positivity makes exercise feel less like a chore. A lot of
that's
times, like,
true.
look, when you're feeling it's like, oh, I got to do it. But when you're positive about it, it's almost like exercise begets more exercise. It's kind of like sugar, right? I mean, think about how powerful a drug sugar is. It's like, I, I don't want to,
That's true.
right? It's like, I don't want the piece of cake. But man, if I take a bite of the piece of cake, guess what I want, Lisa? I want the whole piece of cake. I might want the whole
Mm.
cake.
Well, because it causes your blood sugar. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
whole chemical thing within your body. Your
Yeah.
blood sugar level raises, and then it all of a sudden drops because it burns so quickly, and
Yeah.
then your body's just wanting to replace it with more, and
Right. So sugar begets sugar. And I think exercise begets exercise
because of the positive
because
endorphins
of the
and how
positive
you feel.
endorphins. Yeah, absolutely. I know many times I've gotten out of the habit of running, but the more I get into the habit, the more I want to do it. And I remember at times just wake up in the morning, and go, oh my gosh, when am I going to run today? I'm so excited about running. But I had created this habit of doing it. And so it's like exercise begets more exercise. I think it helps your immune system, right? It really kind of
Yes,
helps you
that's
make
true.
better lifestyle choices, right? Because many times my immune system is determined by the choices that I make, right? Maybe sometimes, and not everything is not diet related, right? There are, other reasons, but it's like if I'm putting junk in my body, right, it really, it affects my immune system.
Well, gratitude affects your immune system because when you have gratitude is shown to lower cortisol levels, to lower
Hmm.
your stress levels. And when you are at high stress, then your body is um, just using a lot of its resources to help you cope with that stress, which weakens your immune system.
Yeah. Well, and this is one of my favorite ones. It improves your pain tolerance, right? So some of our favorite drugs are dopamine and serotonin,
Hmm.
right? Some of the greatest drugs, and well, those things really influence your pain perception.
That's true.
Right? And they really influence your pain perception and how painful is something. Well, that's a perception, right? It could be very painful for you and I might not be as painful for me.
But different people have different levels of pain
They
tolerance
do.
too. So
They
you have
do.
to gauge it against your own personal level of pain tolerance.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, just being grateful really improves, and people typically only grow to their pain tolerance. I mean, this is even emotional pain. Think about emotional pain,
Mhm.
right? We don't want to do something, it's painful emotionally, and so we sort of avoid it. But when you're full of gratitude, you have more confidence and you can kind of step into that pain. Not that that pain's going to go away, but it kind of helps you press into the pain instead of press away from the pain.
Mhm.
Because think about every time you go up another level, there's this new level of pain. And so, what if you were, when you see this pain, instead of like backing away, you actually pressed into the pain? So, here's a great question for you is like, what's the pain that you need to press into? What's the emotional pain, the mental sort of pain and anxiety that, like, I need to press into this, not press away from it? And I think having a heart full of gratitude and appreciation, kind of this lifestyle, it gives you the tool that you need to step into more pain and kind of go to that next level. So just a thought, and then it really extends your lifespan, right? We know that from studies, and we'll put this study in the show notes, but it reduces a lot of the inflammation markers, and it really helps you with some of your coping skills. And so I think people typically, like with lifespan, it's like we always give up mentally before we give up physically, and so gratitude is sort of this mental thing that happens inside of you, that really kind of helps you like endure even more things.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah. So, Lisa, what do and I kind of dived in some of the emotional issues, but I mean, I knew you had a couple that you wanted to share and kind of talk about.
Yeah, well, so it's fascinating. I discovered an article. It was the 36 scientific benefits of gratitude. It was mental health research
Yep.
findings for 2024, and this is where this comes from. A lot of this comes from.
And we'll put that in the show notes so that
Yeah,
you have
so
it. And all of you geek outers, you can geek out about that.
it lists multiple studies that are done in almost all of these different areas
Yeah.
on how gratitude can help patients with heart issues. Which who would have thought?
Who'd have thunk?
But one of the areas that it covered was emotional areas where gratitude just really helps and really benefits you, and it improves your mood. And I'm thinking, okay, I think that's pretty straightforward. Gratitude improves your mood
Yeah.
because you can either think about all the things that you don't have, or you can think about the things that you do have, and are you going to which state are you going to be happier? I mean,
Well,
that's
and Lisa, isn't it true like your methods come out of your mood? Almost like, hey, I'm in this kind of mood, this envious, like depressed mood, and so like my methods, my actions kind of come out,
hmm,
of my mood, and just how important it is really to have the right mood.
yeah, or to protect your mood.
Oh, protect your mood.
Mhm.
It's the name of this podcast. Protect your mood.
It also helps manage grief,
Huh.
and that was very fascinating. I know. So we just recently had a hurricane come through, and um, there were towns, north of us that were completely wiped out. And as we're recording this, they're still looking for missing people, and it's
Yeah.
just and my honestly, my heart was kind of grieving
Yeah.
for all of the things that are going on and the things that people are
Or
experiencing, and
places that we
it's
visited. So, Lisa, I didn't tell you this, but I saw Pretty Places pretty much destroyed.
is it really?
Yeah, it really is. So Pretty Places is a place in South Carolina that we would go to up in the mountains, and
I mean, and
just
just beautiful views and see
yeah,
sunsets,
yeah. I
and
just
there's
saw that today.
there's there's just all I mean, and and my heart
Boy,
is
now I feel grief.
I know my heart is grieving
I know
right
I'm
now.
ready
We
to
need
cry.
to do 3 things I'm happy about again. But it helps you manage
Yeah.
grief, and there's studies about it, and you can look it up if you want, but it just helps you to
Well, I hope
focus maybe not on all the negative side of what's
it,
going
it helps
on,
you focus
but
not on the loss, but on the gain, on the
it
gains that
it
you have, not
It
the gain
helps
of the
you focus.
situation.
It helps you focus not on the loss, but on the positive aspects that still are in existence regardless of the loss.
Yeah, well, listen, I think it helps you go through the grief because I know I'm going through it, and I think just as we've gone through grief like ourselves, the key is to go through it, not to sort of like try to get away from it.
Mhm.
Actually experience it, but I can experience it with more resiliency when I have a heart of gratitude.
Yeah.
And I really process grief a lot better when
Mhm.
I'm grateful.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, and we've had to through this process of going through this storm and seeing all of the destruction, we've had to do this 3 things I'm happy about. I mean, I think one day we did it, what, 3 or 4
Yeah,
times,
yeah, we did.
just because I was feeling kind of heavy,
Mhm.
and I could just tell that I was not at a place of, I don't know, happiness or, with all of the craziness going on. And I was like, hey, what are 3 things you're happy about? Not because I noticed it in you that you were irritated, but I knew that I needed it for me. And
It's
so
good.
grab a partner, grab somebody and be like, hey, just what are 3 things you're happy about? And I think there's something about if you do it with someone else and you go first, you do it with someone else, you go first. Hey, I'd love to play this game, 3 things I'm happy about, and this is what I'm happy about. And just what are you happy about? Because not only me saying it lifts my mood, but then when I hear you say the things you're happy about, it's like, oh, those are 3 things I never even thought of. Yeah, I think I'm kind of happy about that too. Or I'm
Yeah,
happy for you about
yeah,
that. And
yeah,
so that's just the power of it.
yeah, it's really good.
Another emotional benefit of gratitude is it makes you see your memories in a positive light.
Hmm,
So there was this experiment, because I'm thinking I could see that, but how does that actually work? So there's an experiment. It was a study by Philip Watkins, and he had 2 groups of people. So he had group 1 focus on the event. And
mhm,
in this study, they journaled. And so they did multiple days of journaling, and they would journal about the event and what happened. And then group 2 focused on the positive consequences of that event.
hmm,
And so group 1 is writing just about what happened and kind of just getting it all out. Group 2 is writing about, okay, what was the positive effect? And their entire focus was what was the positive effect of this event, right?
mhm,
And so those that were they call it the grateful condition, those that were in the grateful condition,
hmm,
they showed more memory closure. They showed less unpleasant emotional impact, and they
hmm,
showed less intrusiveness of the open memory. So even if they didn't have that closure, even if they still had that open memory of that negative event
hmm.
wasn't so impactful. It
Well,
was less intrusive.
yeah, well, and Lisa, I think, gratefulness increases learning. Because I think what happens is an event happens and you're irritated and you're mad and you're depressed about it, it's almost like the learning stops. But when you can go to that place of gratitude, it actually increases your learning.
Yeah.
And I think any event, and what I've discovered, Lisa, is that any event that I still have a lot of like traumatic like feelings about,
Mhm.
it typically is just a sign for Dennis that he hasn't gotten all the learning from that event. And I'm just thinking about, we don't have to get into the details, but we have a certain couple in our life that a traumatic event happened 20 years ago where, one of the partners, like they made a mistake. Right. So they made this mistake and they talk about it openly now, 20 years later. But what was amazing is as they were talking about it, you said, well, look at the one person. They have no shame, no, none
The
of
offending
the event.
party, the
Right.
offending party, the one that, like, totally messed up.
Yeah, they have no shame
They
about it. And
they
it,
actually have a smile on their face when they're talking
yeah, and
about it
they're
and when they're
absolutely.
talking together.
Yeah, and it was fascinating, but I think that's really because they've extracted all the learning. And I think if you have a traumatic event, maybe that still has a lot of residual pain from it, I think it just means you haven't extracted all the learning. And when you go to this place of gratitude, it actually it helps you to extract the learning. And the reality is that the value of any event is what you learn from the event. That's the value. Right? And so not that it's good or bad or not painful, but it's like, hey, that was very valuable because I learned this and this and this. And I'm excited to find out. I don't know what it is yet, but we just went through this hurricane and I'm excited to see, I wonder what we're going to learn from this. I wonder what I'm going to learn from this, right? I wonder what you're going to learn from this as we
Mhm.
kind of process through some of this grief that we've seen and that we have a little bit. Wow, I wonder what the learning is going to be. And and it's fascinating to know that there's actually a study on that.
Yeah, it is absolutely fascinating, and what's interesting is these memories and these experiences, they could be good experiences.
Yeah.
It could be a family beach vacation, but if you aren't focusing on the positive things, I mean, listen, anytime you do a family vacation, stuff is gonna go wrong. I mean, it's just gonna go wrong. And what you're focusing on, are you focusing on the things you're happy about, the things you're grateful for? That's going to cause those memories set in a positive light. So when you look back,
Yeah.
they'll be positive. Or if you focus on the fight that happened and just all of the bad things that happened during a family vacation, you're gonna look back and you're gonna look at it in a negative light. But something that's a real key for, even if you're talking with your family a year later, you can say,
Yeah.
hey, remember when we did this? And when you say that, remember this, recall the positive things. Say, hey,
Mhm.
remember when we went snowmobiling and we got to go up to the top of the mountain and it was just like winter, incredibly gorgeous wonderland.
Mm.
We want to recall that rather than, hey, remember when we went on family vacation and we went snowmobiling and we like got buried in a snowbank
It took us
and
an hour to dig ourselves
took
out.
it and it was possibly life-threatening and could have been very dangerous. I mean, so it's like,
Yeah.
which way do you want to have remember an event? And
Yeah.
so it makes you see your memories in a positive light, which I'm thinking, yes, please.
Yeah. Well, I remember Dan Sullivan saying that your eyes only see and your ears only hear what your brain is looking for. Right? Your eyes only see and your ears only hear what your brain is looking for. So what's your brain looking for?
Yeah, and that's
Right?
that's another way of makes you see your memories in a positive light.
Yeah.
And then the last one was contributes to happiness, which I don't I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Well, and I think it also helps you this continual exercise. It makes you realize that happiness is not the goal. Okay, because think about this. I don't. It's like I'm happy right now. I'm not going to get happy. I'm happy right now, and I'm just increasing my happiness. I'm joyful right now today, and I'm going to increase my and continue to increase my joy. And it's this sort of ever expanding. It's not a goal. It's not a destination where I get to this place where I'm happy and I'm always happy, right? But it's like, hey, I have a level of happiness, and tomorrow I'm going to have an even more happiness. And it's this ever expanding joy and happiness instead of it. It's like a journey. It
So
becomes the journey, not the destination.
you said happiness is not the goal. I think rephrase that because I'm thinking,
Well,
yeah, I would like my life to be happy. I think that's a pretty good goal to have a happy year.
right. I think
Just kind of rephrase that because I know what you're saying,
well, I
but
think when I'm pursuing happiness, there's this connotation that I'm not happy right now
because you're pursuing it,
because
which
I'm
means you
pursuing
don't
it,
have
which
it.
means I don't have it.
Right.
Right. So it's like it's not necessarily pursuing it, but it's like I am, and I'm
What am
just
I happy
expanding.
about right now?
Yeah.
And what else can I be happy
And I have
about?
no idea what I'm gonna be happy about tomorrow, but it's gonna be even better. Right. And then a year from now, it's like, wow, I'm gonna be happy. It's almost like I'm building on happiness.
Hmm.
Right? It's almost like happiness is sort of like these building blocks that you continue to build upon. It's not a destination that you get to and boom, you're right. And a little bit it helps you see that it's a habit, it's a muscle, it's a lifestyle, it's a practice, right? It's not like a perfection where it's oh, this is no, it's a continual practice. And it's just something you expand and I think it keeps you in an abundance mentality, not a
Mhm.
scarcity mentality. Because I know if I'm pursuing happiness, oh, I don't have it. It's like I look at all the things I don't have. But if it's like if I am happy, there's an abundance, and then how do I grow that abundance? And
Well,
so
and it's the glass half full, glass half empty. It's the exact same glass. There
s-
is the exact same amount of liquid in that glass, and there is no difference. And am I looking at everything that I'm missing in the glass, or am I
yeah.
looking at everything that I have? And that's really what it is.
And the
That's
reality,
that's essentially what you're saying is I'm happy now and I'm going to increase my happiness. It's I already have a half full glass. I've already got something that I can grab hold of and just be really
and
happy
I'm going to
about.
keep filling it up with water.
And or I'm still trying to fill up my glass. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. And I think that's essentially
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you're saying on
That's
that.
that really is right. And so Thomas Jefferson got it wrong. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Hey, let's not pursue happiness. Let's just be happy. Right. Let's use gratitude. Right.
There you go.
We're moving on. Okay,
Thanks.
so
Thanks, Dave.
and probably the last sort of ideas, we want to just talk about some of the social benefits, right? As you're grateful, it increases oxytocin, right, which really strengthens our romantic relationships.
Mhm.
It's almost like this idea, Lisa, is that if I'm looking at you and I'm just focused on what you're not instead of like who you are, like
Yeah,
all
it's
of it,
not going to be a good evening,
it's
is
not
it?
going to be fun, right? It's not going to be, tell them what let's go and just tell the world one practice that you do every 3 hours. You have an alarm on
Oh,
your
oh yeah, yeah,
phone,
yeah.
right? So just Let's just get it out there into the world.
Okay, so if you've ever taken the love languages quiz, it's 5 love languages and acts of service, quality time, gifts, physical touch. I'm missing one.
Words of encouragement.
Words of encouragement.
The best one.
The best one. So, and everyone has different a different love language that's their top love language. So for Dennis, his top love language is words of encouragement, and I have an alarm on my phone that goes off 4 times a day: 9:30, 12:30, 3:30, and
They're
6:30.
the best times of every day.
And it's
I
just
love these times.
this nice little sweet little tune, very mellow elevator music type tune. And it's my trigger that I use words of encouragement with Dennis. So when at 9:30, which I had to turn it off because otherwise it would have gone off during the middle of the podcast like it did a few times ago. When it goes off, then I think at the moment, and it's amazing because there's been so many times the alarm has gone off and I've been kind of irritated with them and I've been not very happy with them. And I'm like, oh, shoot.
Which there's completely no reason
I'm
to
like-
never be happy with me.
I'm
It's
like,
come
crud.
on.
Okay, what is something that I'm happy about? What's something that I can like
You're grateful
praise him
about.
for, or I'm grateful for? And so I'll be like, hey, I just really appreciate that, you get me tea in the mornings. And that really means a lot to me. And I'm very thankful for that. And so every time that alarm goes off, I use his top love language and I implement it even when I don't feel like it, and even when sometimes I'm complaining.
But I've noticed it just changes. It changes like how you look at me. It just changes your entire mindset when you do it.
And it also changes you.
Yeah, it's so
And
awesome.
But what's fascinating?
All of a sudden, oxytocins, hubba hubba.
Yeah, all
right?
all that oxytocin comes up. But what's fascinating
Yeah.
is I've been doing it long enough now that and Dennis knows what that is, and he knows that I do that. And so when that alarm goes off and we might be in a public place, we might be in the middle of something. And I think we were in a meeting the other day and I couldn't say anything, but he heard the alarm start to go off.
That's all I needed.
And he just looked at me and he winked at me and he just, in his brain, he started saying positive things towards himself.
Yeah.
Because he knew that's what that stood for. And
It made for a great night that night too.
It probably did. I don't remember, but it probably did. But
Yeah.
but that's a way to utilize gratitude and to utilize those positive things. It's increasing the oxytocin and strengthening romantic
Yeah,
relationships.
and it is not it's not the be all cure all for romantic relationships. Okay,
No.
so but it's a tool. It's a tool, and so give the tool a try. You go, well, I'm not really good at that. It's a muscle, right? Before I could lift 100 pounds, I had to start lifting with 10 pounds. Okay, so you go, I'm not very good at that. Just people just got to understand. Listen, no, it's a tool. It's a muscle. You can improve it, right? It's a resource that you have. So get good at the resource. It also improves relationships with friends.
Yeah.
I know one thing that we kind of talk about is when we're leaving a couple or we're in a social event, we always ask, well, what did you appreciate about that person, or what do you like about that person? And sometimes we take it to another level and we'll send them a text or
a lot of
communicate
times,
it out.
A lot of times after we have coffee with someone and I'll be like, hey, it was really great seeing you. I really enjoyed whatever. And
kind of call out what we appreciate. Not just, hey, it's great having coffee with you. We appreciate it. But it's like, hey, and get specific with your appreciation, right? Get specific with your gratitude, because gratitude works best in specifics. Is because your brain works best in specifics. Your brain does not work well with generalities. And so the more specific you are, the more concise it is and the more powerful it is.
Yeah.
So it helps with those. It also strengthens family support.
Yeah, think about it. If you were grateful for and outwardly grateful to your different family members,
your siblings, your parents,
your kids. I mean, because so many times we dog them. We dog our kids, we dog our spouses, we dog our parents to their faces. And we're like, man, why can't you ever keep your room clean? Or man,
why do you never call me back?
Why when you call me, do you just want to tell me all about you and you just don't want to say it? And I mean,
not an issue for you, is it?
Not an issue for me at all. And it just starts.
Yeah.
What it does is it drives a wall. It's a divide between these relationships.
It doesn't build bridges, right?
Right.
It just kind of creates these walls.
But when you begin to express gratitude and be like, man, I just really appreciate that you tell me all about what's going on in your life when we talk. even though you don't ever ask me about anything about my life, but I really appreciate you just really
Yeah.
share what's going on in your life because it's I enjoy knowing what's going on.
Yeah, and I know it really improves, like, a lot of, like, our social circles, and what I've really gotten good at, and we don't have time to teach this, but this whole idea of the golden rule, right? There's gold
Mm,
inside of every person, and you wanna get good at just kinda calling out the good,
yeah.
right? You kinda call out that gold that's on the inside of them, and at least I've just seen the bonds that have strengthened, in our social circles when we're really good at noticing, like, what's great about them or what am I grateful about it that's inside of them, and then actually call it out, right? So I have a question, Lisa, and I don't have an answer for it. It's just we didn't really kind of plan on this, but can you be grateful and not express it?
I mean,
It
I think you can be grateful. Some people are not good about verbalizing. Some people are not good at expressing what's going on inside. I mean, Dennis, you know that
Yeah,
because you went for years maybe having things go on, but just not being able to connect.
didn't have access to them to be
Didn't
able to
have,
communicate them.
right. And so I think you can be grateful and not know how to connect and not know how to express that. And that's something that it's a muscle that you have to build.
Yeah, and so we didn't plan on sharing this, but emotional intelligence really does that. The emotionally intelligent
Mm.
course, okay, is an entire resource for you that helps you connect that way, and then actually express some of that gratitude. Okay,
Mm.
so if that's a challenge for you and you go, well, I am, but I just don't express it well, emotionally intelligent, and we'll put a link in the show notes for you, but that is a fantastic resource for you to communicate some of that so that you really enhance your life and really become the person that you were meant to be.
Yeah. And we are, this episode is airing in the middle of December. We're looking into Christmas and we are going to be with family. We're going to be with
Yeah.
friends. We're going to be in maybe some stressful situations and being able to utilize and implement gratitude just makes a huge
Yeah,
difference
especially if you're
in the
walking into some
interactions.
challenging, situations with people that maybe you don't always see throughout the year. Really utilizing gratitude as a tool to kind of help you cope with some of the Christmas situations and maybe the Christmas crazies. We have some Christmas crazies like in our family. I'm sure every family does, right? And so just it's a great resource.
And, if you're going over to someone's house, your kid's house, your in-laws' house, and let the very first thing that come out of your mouth be like, "Merry Christmas. Hey, I really appreciate you hosting this because that's really sweet. And we've been looking forward to coming over."
Let
Just
gratitude be the first thing you say.
let gratitude be and it will
Set the
set the
tone.
atmosphere. It will
Mhm.
set the tone for when you walk into that space. And yeah, we sometimes we need all the help we can get.
We do. Lisa, for you, big takeaways. We're kind of closing down. Like what kind of goes on in your brain as we talk about this?
I find it fascinating. There's gratitude has been a concept for the ages. It's just
Mhm.
it's something that's been set, but we're starting to have scientific studies and data on what it is about gratitude, what it does in the brain, what it does in the body, what it plays out in your health and in your relationships. And that for me was absolutely fascinating where we've
Mm,
made enough scientific breakthroughs to actually have concrete evidence and data
mm.
of what gratitude actually does. And so there's proof. It's like it's not just,
It's not just a woo woo.
yeah, it's not just one of those, oh yeah, that's something probably good. There's scientific data and proof on what it does physically in the workplace, psychologically, mentally, emotionally. It's pretty cool. So I mean, if smoking causes cancer, gratitude causes life. Let's do the data.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think for me, Lisa, I think I'm just reminded, I journal about my gratitude, but I don't always express it as well. I think
Mm,
you're a little bit better at expressing it. And so I'm just going to start expressing it. Not that I don't express it, because I think I'm so much better than I was in years past, but I think I need to express it more. I
hmm,
just don't think,
hmm, huh,
yeah, huh, wow,
wow,
yeah,
yeah,
pow, pow.
bam.
Okay, awesome. Hey, I think we're done. Team Talks is there as a resource. Okay, it is a great way to express gratitude to your team. So if you need better productivity, more efficiency, better team meetings, meetings done simple. So if meetings are an issue for you, you're like, what do I say? We got you covered. Team Talks is there as a resource, special for this month only, December of 2024.
$10 a month.
Yep.
Normally it's $30 for Christmas. Our gift to you, $10 a month. Cheapest team meetings you'll ever have.
There you go.
And but if you wait until January 1st, sorry, it goes back up to 30.
30 a month. Okay, awesome. Listen, this has been fun. We'll see you next time at the Drama Free Living Podcast.